Well, so here's Lucy, here is Allie, and now we are watching a new dog. This is Tase, looking at Lucy. Alright, so the presence of the dogs is now going to make it so it's very hard for me to get things done, including TableForV. I had to put Allie in her cage upstairs because she was starting to fight with this one. And this one's now coming towards me, so I have to stop and get rid of her. Anyway, it is Monday, June 8th, 2010, and this is a video. I don't have a huge amount to talk about other than the fact that the dogs are here, and as I mentioned last week, they're making it very difficult for me to get things done. My reading rate has dropped through the floor, and my writing rate as well. Lucy isn't being much of a problem, but she's old. She doesn't cause many problems. Alright, so the other day, it was Saturday morning from like around 2:55 to 5:55, it depends on where you are in the country. There was a partial lunar eclipse. Now, Hawaii saw a whole lunar eclipse because of where they were on the planet, around the time when it was happening. I stayed up to see it, and it was very tiring because I was up really early that day anyway. For someone who is in an astronomy program, I have seen very little astronomy things. Like, I haven't seen solar eclipses, I haven't seen a lunar eclipse, so that was cool to see the other day. It was rather unnatural looking. For those of you who haven't seen a lunar eclipse, it's the idea the Earth is passing between the sun and the moon, which casts Earth's shadow on the moon. When it's happening, on the first top half, it makes the shadows bent this way, even though the moon is here. Now, normally, if it was normal sunlight, it'd be going the other way, so it looked kind of strange. So it was my first lunar eclipse, and it was kind of cool to see, although I was pretty much on the verge of passing out the entire time. And my glasses, these things, made it very, very, very difficult for me to actually see detail. Next time a lunar eclipse happens, I hope I can have a telescope. I don't actually own a telescope, not yet. I'm hoping eventually to own a telescope. Anyway, other things, on the topic of reading, I am reading Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. I've been told by several people over the course of the last year that I should read it. Becca from school, Emily from school, Dwayne from school as well. So I finally was able to borrow it from Emily after I'd read some more Sagan books. Also, Sagan wrote a book with a guy named Shklovsky, I.S. Shklovsky. He was a stellar physicist from the Soviet Union. Best name ever. The book is Intelligent Life in the Universe by Carl Sagan and I.S. Shklovsky. Look it up. It's out of print and very old. It's an interesting read. Anyway, so I'm reading that book. I'm not actually that far through. I'm this far. Most of that can be blamed on dogs and Civilization 4. But so far I'm liking it. And like any dystopian book, it has elements of the present day, which makes it tie in with the experiences we have of everyday life and the world around us. That's a typical dystopian novel in that sense, but I like how it takes it from a woman's perspective as opposed to all the others, which is just, society is pushing everybody down. It's pushing everybody down in this one, except it's taking from a woman protagonist perspective and not so much a male's. So that adds a different perspective to the entire story. Months ago I talked about bagpipes and the general structure of the practice chanter. Eventually I will be talking about the actual bagpipe, but for now I'm going to just continue with the practice chanter like you would if you were actually learning bagpipes. Practice chanter, if you see on the link for that video, looks like this, and it sounds like this. Tase noticed the sound, so she's now up and being bothersome. There are 9 notes in 8 holes on a bagpipe. The notes are G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, from lowest point to highest point, it increases in pitch. So you have now, obviously you do more than just play notes on the bagpipe. You have things like grace notes, which are really quick notes we have quarter notes, eighth notes. They are about a 16th note. So, and then you also have other things like doublings, which are, a doubling is basically 2 grace notes. You have other ones like burls, or like 3 grace notes for, or 4. The actual playing of the music is not actually all that difficult. Now, of course, you have music theory that makes it a little bit more difficult to actually be able to play properly. But those are bagpipes. Any instrument has the music theory issues, but the actual playing is very simple. The hard part about bagpipes is the stamina and the strength necessary to play them. To make 3 different drones for the bagpipe, for the drones to go, and as well as the very difficult cane chanter reed, and keeping the pressure stable by keeping the bag full enough to maintain a steady pressure. Owl's barking upstairs. However, probably we'll talk more about bagpipes later on, but that is more talk about bagpipes. Next week I'll probably talk a little bit more about them, but until then I think I'm out of time. So this is Angus Martin reminding you that laziness prevails, and I'll see you all, of course, next week, and I hope I'll see the other table people soon in videos this week.